I was really
Yep.
interested if you could pull up eHEX because, everybody's favorite token. The other day, Richard tweeted simply, this is just insane to me, like how much his tweets seem to matter, especially for eHEX. But, it's not as if he said, like, hey, you guys all misinterpreted my tweet, although he has said that before, but you misinterpreted me
Mhm.
months ago. There's definitely some value still in eHEX, and they should be at parity. I mean, it's not like he said anything like that, but he simply had the observation. And this is just a side point I didn't even know if we would get to, but I do find it really interesting that MetaMask, or yeah, that was MetaMask,
Yeah.
tweeted, yeah, I mean, using their, you shouldn't use this, but their swap tool, that Hex was one of the top 5 tokens that was used in their swap tool, which, I mean, you pay like ridiculous fees. I've never used it or anything, but you definitely don't want to be doing the MetaMask swap feature. It's a lot of fees, but, yeah, that they had that in their top 5 as far as transactions. Richard retweeted that fact, and I forget his exact words. I don't think I bookmarked that one, but I mean, it wasn't anything crazy. Like he just simply kind of just acknowledged it, and as you should. I mean, anytime you're going to get free advertising for one of your tokens out there, why not take advantage of it? And this is part of one of the things, and I know many people like don't agree with it or don't understand what I'm trying to say, but just the fact that MetaMask did that, okay, kind of shows you the argument for people that have been talking about how, eHEX isn't going to go away. Not that it has to hit parity or anything like that, but that mind share on Ethereum is still there. And people still are going to look at that chart and people are still going to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
MetaMask being one of them right there. I mean, that's a useful tool on another chain that is good to have there still, I believe. So yeah, it was good to see that the MetaMask setup, but also Rich's tweet. And we saw eHEX make a big move and then move back down, which you can tell us why that happened as well, Ewok. But yeah, what do you make of MetaMask doing that? Rich's retweet and just kind of where the price action is for eHEX right now?
Well, yeah, I think that tweet was on the 8th or maybe the 7th or 8th, whatever it was. And then what do you see here? This big green candle, from basically 0.0052 all the way up to 0.0067. And then our friends over at BankX come along and knock it right back down. So, but the good thing is these guys are slowly working their way out of this chain. So I think I am going to share it. Well, let's finish looking at the chart first.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you've had some solid movements from the end of November, basically the 27th here. If you're just looking at these couple candles, let's take a look at this. Just the movement alone in 3 days, it was 104%. So it essentially doubled, in 3 days. Not unheard of in Hex, and especially when there isn't a whole lot of liquidity right now for the simple reason of the BankX sell walls, and we know they're unloading tokens. So, people aren't willing to really put their funds in there, which I can't blame them until they're out. And I have a feeling once they're out and gone, this whole ecosystem over here is going to change. As for the MetaMask swap feature, again, please don't use it. They're going to chew you up with extra fees. So, even them being in the top 5, they've capitalized in a lot of fees that could have gone to the users for more coins had they just known to use CalSwap or ethex.com or even for that matter, going over to Pulse Chain and buying the tokens over there for pennies, right? You can use Pulse X and bridge your Ethereum over or whatever USDC and swap for the eHEX over there if you really want it. Again, I'm not recommending any of those to you. I'm just recommending that you don't do it on the MetaMask feature. So, but yeah, I mean, this is looking extremely good for the past, let's measure even just from the beginning of November to where we are today, and you're up 232% basically. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially tripled. So, yeah, this is looking really good over here. Let's take a look at this BankX thing because I know it piques a lot of people's interest here. It looks like, and they have been selling. So if you look at some of the transactions that have happened, you say scam, scam, scam.
Yeah.
But if you go back into 3 hours, 10 minutes ago, a million, 3 hours, 19, a million. So each one of these cells are for a million. They're getting about $5,400 in DAI for each one of these. A million, a million, a million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm sure there's more. And that goes just back to 5 hours. So essentially, they have gotten down to 86 million that they have left. Now, remember, they were at almost, actually, they had 840 million tokens, I believe, at one point.
Hmm.
And they've chopped that considerably. Now, this is all that they have left on the ETH side. I do believe they still have 299 million, 300 million essentially, that is bridged over on Pulse Chain. Whether they have removed, I don't see any liquidity because their liquidity pools are not showing here. They have some sort of island farm going on here. I don't know what that's worth, but yeah. So I mean, they've chopped it in half essentially,
Yep.
and if we continue to hold these prices, I think they're going to be more motivated to just sell and get out and not provide liquidity. Um, and that's a good thing. So yeah, things are looking really good on that front. They sold, I had it written down here. They dumped 22 million, and this was earlier, actually 2 days ago, I think, when that post was made, that they had dumped 22 million this month already and only dumped 16 million in the whole month of November. So they've definitely increased their strategy
Yeah.
or their time frame to get out of this. So that has been sped up, and yeah, again, I think you're going to see some major moves forward whenever these guys finally get out of their position. And right now it's about $2 million if you just take the USD value on chain. Now, obviously, as they sell, that's going to drop the price. So it's not going to take 2 million to get them out. It'll probably take considerably less than that. But as of right now, it's looking like there's about $2 million there that needs to flow their way, and they can be gone forever.
Yes, and it's very. I mean, we're all happy, obviously, to see them exiting the ecosystem. It's been a long time coming, and it's still good. I mean, like even though maybe they're increasing their sells right now, I mean, it's good that it's still happening towards the lows. I mean, we're still down here. It's better now than later. I mean, we've talked about that many times before, and they are about, like you said, halfway out. So
Yeah.
obviously, this whole thing has gone. People seem to like blame them a lot or be fearful of them or whatever. This hasn't gone according to their plan whatsoever. I mean, you
No.
remember like they had all these other sell walls and stuff. Then comes the Richard Hart like death tweet, which I mean, hey, you could say maybe has to do with BankX possibly,
Maybe. Maybe.
and he sends it down, and then they're like, "Shit, we just got caught with our pants down. What do we do now?" Like now,
Yeah.
now all these sell walls are gone, and we're
Yep.
selling for pennies on the dollar.
Yep. And they're really not hurting it. Yes, there are some series of red candles that did pull it down, but in the grand scheme of things, they're not hurting the price that badly. And I think what happens is whenever they do buy it down, somebody buys it up and they sell it again. So,
Mhm.
it hasn't been too dreadful. I mean, obviously, this sell wall here was the tweet. But since then, they have been managing to get out and not terribly kill the price too bad. So
Mhm.
I, I'm happy with the way things are going and at the rate that they're going. Again, with the amount of sell pressure that we're seeing right now at this period when people know this is the time you hold, I'm quite pleased with how this chart still looks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's erased half the move of the death tweet, as you can see there. It's pretty clear where the death tweet is if you're looking at the chart here. But yeah, it's very encouraging to see.